Okay, everybody, welcome. This is the fourth video in the book chapter module. So I'm working on page 86. We're going to talk a little bit about tables. So you can create a table of quote characters, and you can learn a little bit about the TD tag, the TH tags, which I'm going to be describing very shortly when we actually create a table. And it's really pretty simple in here. So I have the typography file open, and I'm going to click write quotes and related characters somewhere in here right at the end. And then there's two different ways to do it. You can click on insert table. So let's click on that, and or you can click on insert and table here, and notice it's the exact same thing in here. Now, if you have a table within here, you probably want to get rid of it as well as everything else. In this particular one, we're going to create a table that's going to have headings on the top. Think of it a lot like an Excel spreadsheet, where your very first row is going to be, row 1 is going to be the headings, and then the other one is where your actual data is in here. So it wants us to put a caption in here, and the caption will be quotation characters. And then the next thing we're going to do is put in a summary, even though the book tells us not to put in a summary. I just want to show you what it's going to do. So we're going to do summary. I'm going to click on OK. And look, we have this teeny itsy bitsy thing in here. That's because the default is if you don't put in a table width, it's going to take up as little or as much space as it needs when you're typing. A lot like when you go to a PowerPoint text box, you can see that increase as you need more space in here. So let's take a look at what we have here. So we have table summary in here. Then we have caption, opening and closing, a T-body, and in here. So those are all different things that you need to understand what they are. So there is a very good explanation as to what each and every one is. So we'll discuss that in a little bit. The advantage of having all this is you can format it. Say you want to have a table header row formatted a special way, a special color. You can do that. Again, that'll involve CSS. I'm going to click on the table itself, and you can see there's different properties down over here. If I put in something in here, which is actually the ID, it names the table. So you could physically create a rule in CSS which can format anything with an ID of my table to whatever you want. Bear in mind, you can only have one of the same ID in a document. Cannot have that. Sort of like having the same house number, two different ones on the same street. So just remember that in here. And as you do things, you can see that the scope is column because it refers to the column down here for the table header. And then it fills everything up with a non-breaking space. So it puts something in there. It's not actually blank. So we have done everything in up to number 4. We've created it. So number 5, we're going to go to the top of it here. And I'm not doing well, so I'm going to click right here. And now I know I'm in here. And I'm going to type in character description. And I'm going to hit the tab key. And notice that it expands over here. Then we're going to type in character. And again, it expands. Hit tab. We'll go to the new row because we're out of cells in here. We only have 2 columns. So this is the part I was telling you about. So a caption, notice the caption we defined is going to be enclosed in opening and closing tags. The content itself is going to be in opening and closing table tags. The body itself is going to be in, guess what, opening and closing T body tags, that stands for table body. Then you have TRAR tags, which is a table row, a TH tag, which is a table header, and then a TD tag is just a normal cell. So you can see we have the T body, which means begin the actual table itself, start a row. So just think of Excel spreadsheet as this is row 1, this is column A, this is column B, then this is row 2, column A, and column B. Then we have the end of the table body and the end of the table itself. So you can look a little bit more about that on the bottom of page 88. So now we're going to do some fancy-dancy work in here. We're going to click on the lower left empty cell and we're going to type in double curly braces. And I'm going to try to do this by memory. So now I need to go into the character. So I'll go down to other characters and a double curly brace. This is the left one. And then I'm going to try something that I haven't tried before. I'm going to put in a space and then the right one. So I do not think that worked. So I was trying to do something twice and be a little tricky. So let's click it here and click on OK. And obviously that was the wrong one. Oh, we have a TM in here. So let's get rid of that. So now that I have done a character, I can go back in here and do the other one. And I think I missed a space. I'm going to try putting a space here and see what happens. And that worked. Okay. So we're good over here. Now we're going to hit the tab key and we're going to do single curly braces. Hit the tab key and then we'll do character again and we'll do single and we'll do a space and then we'll do the right single. Boom. And that takes care of that. So now we have done everything on page 89. And let's see, I think we've done everything in page 90 as well. Pretty good. So now we're going to do some prime, which is inches and seconds. So we'll hit the tab key and do another one, and we'll do double prime inches or seconds. And don't worry, it will actually fill out. Notice how it expanded. I don't believe I spelled inches right, but what can I tell you? Story of my life. We'll fix that in here. So let's see. Let's put in an H here. Now what we need to do here, we need to get rid of this non-breaking space. You have to do this in code view. So what it wants us to type in, now I know this doesn't look like, it looks kind of like an E. We're going to put in a ampersand, which is shift 7. And then we're going to type in with a capital P prime. And then a semicolon. And we'll hit the tab key and see what happens. Should not have hit the tab key in here. So let's go over here and boom. I put in the inch mark, which is different than the single quotes. So now we're going to do a single prime, which is feet. Feet and minutes. And then we'll do this. Let's get rid of the And we're going to do an ampersand, this time with a little prime. Don't forget the semicolon. And notice that it automatically fills it in for you. So you're good. So now we have, get over here and let's see what happens. So it filled it in for us. So that takes care of that. Let's save this. And we're going to do one more item. We're going to do special characters in the code. So we're going to find the letter X between 15 and 22. So let's find where that is. Let's see. In the multiplication sign heading. So we have an X over here. And then we're going to go in. Remember, we're going to need to do this in code view. So it should be highlighted over here. Sometimes it's a little challenging to find. Which I am, and there it is right here. So we're in code view. So what we're going to do is we're going to get rid of this here. And we're going to type in ampersand. And start typing in T-I-M. And notice that it fills in stuff automatically. If we hit the enter key, then we have times. So it's going to give you a little X that's a little bit differently. Notice that it's smaller and in between in here. So that takes care of that. Then we're going to compare that to the letter X. So you can see this is an X, and you can see how different that is. So let's do the same thing to this X here. Only this time I'm going to select this here, and then I'll go ampersand times, boom. Once you click in here, you'll see the change is made. So that takes care of that. Now, it actually could have done a different way, which the book does. So let's change this from here. And we're going to put in the actual code itself for it. So we're going to put in 215 and a semicolon. And let's see what happens. And wherever we are, and it did the same thing. So there's different ways of doing the exact same thing. So that takes care of this video. We're going to have one more as well, which is going to be on list. So have a